Hello, and welcome to another exciting edition of Hidden in the Universal Vault. I'm Ryan, your host, and I'm welcoming you to my review of EDTV from 1999. I thought we'd go ahead and return back to a film from director Ron Howard. Now, I have covered another film of his, which I think is still one of the greatest movies ever made, Parenthood. But when it comes to Ron Howard, he is no stranger to the world of directing. And I believe Ron Howard's one of my favorite directors. He's easily in the top 10 for me when it comes to as a director. So EDTV is one of the few movies I actually never seen. So what did I think of EDTV? Solid movie. Let's talk about EDTV though. So basically, let's run down the cast before I explain about the plot. This is a stacked cast right here. We got Martin Landau, Jenna Elfman, Woody Harrelson, Ellen DeGeneres, Sally Kirkland, Martin Landau, Rob Reiner, Dennis Hopper, Elizabeth Hurley, and his brother Clint Howard. I believe that's all who's in this. It also has Adam Goldberg as well. So now I run down the cast. Let's actually talk about this movie. So the movie was produced by Brian Grazer and Ron Howard, with screenplay by Lowell Gantz and Barbara Lou Mandel. They were the same two men that made Parenthood and Splash. So let's actually talk about the movie. Ed Pinkernacki, I hope I'm pronouncing the last name right, is just a regular guy who feels he has nothing to lose by agreeing to be a star of a new reality TV show. Almost overnight, getting tongue-tied right here, the program becomes a hit, and suddenly this goofy but engaging video clerk is a national celebrity. Everything fabulous until Ed falls head over heels for Sherry, which is Jenna Elfman's character. The girlfriend's brother, his brother Ray, played by Woody Harrelson. Suddenly, their most private moments become public entertainment, and the ratings go through the roof as millions of fans tune in to watch a real soap opera filled with comedy and romance. That's the central key of this movie. So, this movie is really, really good. I mean, it's solid. Now, is this a perfect movie? Not really. But basically, McConaughey fits in that sort of like goofball role, and Woody Harrelson plays sort of the straight man. So right at the beginning of the film, we get a network called True TV. TRUE-TV. Not to be confused later on to the network True TV, which is TRU-TV, which was the spin-off to Court TV. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that there was a True TV, but before True TV existed, it was in this movie. Now, it starts off the bat, Rob Reiner plays the main CEO, the main CEO of the main producer. Not producer, but the CEO of the network is what I meant to say. Ellen DeGeneres plays the producer of the show that Ed signs a contract. But he discusses it with his mom, and all of a sudden they're like, he's getting ready to go on the air. It's not like I'm going to be doing anything inappropriate. So now this regular average guy becomes a superstar with this, reality show. And the characters, again, you kind of want to love them. So they did mention that his father left him. Hang on, guys. Let me stop for a minute. Alright, I'm back, guys. I had to move my computer to get the screen from not being black. But anyways, so Ed is like this lovable guy that you kind of want to like. And it's fun. Now, the movie has a sincere and sentimental message that only made the movie work for me. I do like this cast. Right off the bat, again, now he's on TV, and now They thought that Ray was going to be the guy. McConaughey's like, this is the guy you want for your television. Then you look at him and think, well, Ed's your guy. He's the main guy. We want him on the TV, and we want him to be the star of this. So now, other way around, it goes into the whole shenanigans ensue, and really, and not really, but he becomes a star. He gets on the Jay Leno show. Then he meets another woman played by Elizabeth Hurley. She plays a woman that Ed meets. Then they fall in love. Then all of a sudden, Sherry is not pleased with that. I don't want to be on TV anymore. Come back relationship with me when this is all over. And eventually, the tides do turn. And after a while, the guy who runs it, Ed is not pleased with what's going on. So they're like, kissing brings bigger ratings to EDTV. I do like the little advertisements on the bottom, although this is kind of interesting, but the video store that Ed works at, tons of Universal movies. This is more of a studio in-joke, but it's a ton of fun. And Elizabeth Hurley, I think, is the sole reason that I think she's really... Elizabeth Hurley is very beautiful. Her character comes off as that sort of, you wanna like these characters. Then the funny thing that made me laugh in it is where Ed and Elizabeth Hurley's character, I can't think of her name right now, but they're like kissing, smooching, all that, and all of a sudden he drops, and then she's like panicking because they accidentally smash her cat. Not smash her cat, but her cat gets hurt, and you can hear like a meow, meow, the cat sound effects, and it's absolutely hysterical. It's like, is my cat okay? Is my cat okay? And then all of a sudden he's saying, I'm not hurt that bad. So then all of a sudden Ray puts out a book called My Brother's Piss. Yeah, kind of a weird title for a book, but so much fun. This movie is really fun. It was really hard to say, but I didn't think I was going to laugh at this, but honestly, this doesn't feel like comedy. This movie, I probably would say, now I didn't see Truman Show, but a lot of people would compare this to Truman Show. I put it more towards a cross between Parenthood and Truman Show. Now, I never seen Truman Show, so I can't really compare the two. If I seen Truman Show, I'm sure that movie's a better movie, but this movie is really good. I think Ron Howard's idea was the reality television, celebrity, all that stuff. Like they even mentioned, I did watch the featurette on here, and it was called Caught in the Camera's Eye, which is a featurette that talks about this. I could have sworn I thought the idea came from watching The Real World and those MTV reality shows. I thought, but no, it deals with the media, celebrity. They compared like the OJ trial. I'm not sure that would be a good compare this, but sort of like that. The sentimental message at the end is only why I'm going to rate this movie. And for a movie like that, I think it works because it's sincereness and the message at the end. This is before YouTube became big. So, like, when YouTubers would become the whole getting views and stuff. Not to compare this with YouTube, but kind of the parallax, again, the pendulum swinging. Also, weird enough, though, Rob Reiner... Oh, I forgot to mention Dennis Hopper. See, Ed says that his dad left him for another woman. Turns out Hopper plays his dad, and all of a sudden his dad spotted him when he got on television and knocked on the door, and he's like, do I know you? He's like, well, I'm your dad. And then he's like, really? And then his dad lives in sort of a beat-up apartment, and then at first, this is not spoiling the whole movie, but I'm going to talk about Hopper's character. See, he gets in a relationship with him, and they basically go back to being father and son. So, Martin Landau plays Al, his stepfather. His mom is played by Sally Kirkland. So, the two of them, they're in a relationship. At first, they thought it was just part of the show that Al died. Turns out, no, I got a ride with someone else. Turns out, Ed's father just passed on. And all of a sudden, his mom said he just dropped down and passed on. So he couldn't go to the funeral because the cameras would have been there, so he had to stay. So every camera in the film, the cameramen just chase him every day. It's a 24-hour, 7 days a week show he has to do. And he signed a contract, so he has to have the camera people on him all times. So that's that character. But the message at the end is really good. And I think it really... it is predictable. It's not a perfect movie. It can be predictable. But out of any Ron Howard film, it's solid. I can't not narc, but I can't hate a Ron Howard film. As I said, Ron Howard's my favorite director. So trying to say that a movie's bad. Now, I didn't see Far and Away, so I can't say that's bad. But this movie, this was another hard one. Was I going to say it was going to be bad? No. Was this a good movie? Maybe. It's solid. I can't say this movie's average because it's Ron Howard. Ron Howard is, in my opinion, a directorial genius. Every movie I've seen this man direct has been great. I didn't see every one, but every movie that he's ever made, he's in my top 10 favorite directors. And this film, I will easily say, Elizabeth Hurley is probably my favorite part. Her character is probably my favorite character in the movie. The only other thing I've seen this actress in was the first two Austin Powers movies. Well, the first Austin Powers. So she's really, really good. Not to say that this movie is bad. It's a really solid movie. And when you got a director like Ron Howard, this can be good. Also, another thing is the ending. Yeah, the ending is really good. The stepfather is going to lead. Basically, the stepfather, which is Al, which is Martin Landau's character, says, "Look, I'm leaving your mom." It's like, really? Why? Sorry about that, guys. I'm going back to live with my brother. My brother's not in good health, so that. But the ending is really, really good. I was even rooted for the end. Yeah, again, it's very predictable, and I kind of sort of called it, but ignoring the factors about this, I think I mentioned everything about what I'm going to say about this. But like I said, so at the end of the day, yes, I can recommend EDTV. If you're a Ron Howard fan, you might want to check this. You might want to check this movie out. I love Ron Howard. Apollo 13 will stand as my favorite. My second favorite movie he's ever made was probably the overlooked Western, The Missing. He's just, Ron Howard to me, I didn't see Hillbilly Eulogy, his recent movie, and I probably don't plan on seeing that. Maybe, who knows. But in terms of this movie, check this movie out. Woody Harrelson is great. Elizabeth Hurley is awesome. The cast, again, a stacked cast in this movie. I think Lowell Gans and Barbara Lou Mandel did a really good job with writing this. So they said in the featurette that the idea came from a French movie. But I thought the idea came from maybe The Truman Show or like those MTV reality shows. Kind of like I'm recording a video for YouTube. It's all about, it's kind of like how the days of YouTube, this is kind of not really relevant. This may be relevant to the days of people making it big on YouTube, but in terms of this movie, it's very good. The ending made me smile, the ending made me cheer, and it has a really solid ending. Not going to give away that ending, but I talked about one scene in the movie, but you're going to have to judge it for yourself if you do. You're going to have to judge the ending yourself, whether it's a good ending or a bad ending. The choice is yours. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and rate it right now. So yeah, when I rate the movie, I kind of went back and forth. What was I going to give? Was I going to give it a 2 out of 5? Was I going to give it a 3 out of 5? And at the end of the day, I'm going to give EDTV a 3 out of 5. It has to deal with its message at the end of the movie. It has that sentimental message that has that Ron Howard touch that I do like in his movies. Like if you look at a Parenthood, they have these happily ever after endings, and I feel EDTV falls in that category. The sincereness of it, just the relationship between McConaughey and Elkman, and Woody Harrelson as the brother, makes you really want to cheer for Ed at the very end. He's the kind of guy. He's just a regular average store clerk. He's an average. Basically, he's working a 9-to-5 job who becomes this superstar, this all-night celebrity, because of a reality television show. Made him made him big money. So, check out EDTV. It's really, really good. I don't really have much to say about this. Were there any downsides? Not really. But its message and sincereness. Again, this movie had it made me laugh so hard, had it made me chuckle really hard, this movie would have been easily had a higher rating. It would have had higher rating, would have made my best list. But it just was shy. It was just shy away from making it a higher rating than what I'm gonna give it. Check out EDTV, good stuff. So yeah, that's my review of EDTV. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do like the content of the channel, like, comment, subscribe, click the bell, ring the bell to get all my video notifications so you don't miss a single video. I'm also on Letterboxd, guys, so you guys can, I rate the movie before I review it. One more note. I actually got this years ago at Ollie's when they're selling DVDs, though. Well, I think I got it for like $1, maybe got it for 50 cents at Ollie's. Totally well worth it for that. So, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, click the bell, and ring the bell to get all my video notifications. I'm on Letterboxd, so you guys can check me out there. I do tons of other content in the channel, like my, in addition to the Universal reviews, I also have my Vlog City series and collection updates, so you guys can swing on over there. And lots of good stuff on the channel, and I'm trying to think of anything else. So, tons of good stuff on the channel. So, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of EDTV, guys. So, yeah, check out EDTV. Really, really good stuff. I mean, a solid movie is what I meant to say. So, yeah, that's it. And as always, keep watching those Universal movies, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.